Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly episode of Everything Vaguely Paranormal. As always, I am Blake Smith, and with me are my partners in the paranormal, Miss Shelley Pruitt and Mr. Ryan Roberts. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good. After coming off a wonderfully relaxing couple of days with one of my friends, I'm very grateful for the time and the separation from the real world. And now we're back doing this. How was y'all's?
Snowy.
Yeah.
Snowy.
So mine was good, but man, I know you always tell our guests, and a little behind the scenes, pulling the curtain back a little bit. You always tell our guests how loud that intro is, and I got these new headphones in, and Jesus Christ,
yeah, I forgot.
Blew me away. So yeah, it is a little bit loud, but hey, you know what? It builds the anticipation.
Yeah, we like to be loud and proud on this channel. That's why that is just like bam. Oh my gosh! Well, tonight we're going to be speaking with one of our guests that I'm excited to learn about this place.
Absolutely,
we've never been, and I'll let her correct me and whoosh, if I get it wrong. But I believe it's just recently it has been allowed to have public investigations in, so it's fairly new. We'll say that to the maybe not to the world, but to the open and paranormal investigation scene, because tonight. We are talking with paranormal investigator. She is also an author of 8 books, which is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And she is also the owner of Sleeper Mortuary in Iola, Kansas. So we are going to go ahead and bring it to the stage, Tory Westhoff. Hey, Tory.
Hi, Tory. How are you? Welcome.
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me and for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. So did I get it right? Is Sleeper Mortuary kind of new to the paranormal investigation world? Okay. I was like, I hope I didn't fuck that up.
No, you didn't. I purchased it in January of this year, and we've been open since January.
Oh,
okay. Wow. Well, how did you come across it? Were you just out looking for mortuaries to purchase, or how'd that work?
Well, I've been scouting for locations for probably about 5 years or so. And Stephanie O'Reilly, the owner of McIntyre,
Love her.
yeah, she's one of my very best friends, but she was also my realtor. And so we would go on these little adventures. I would see a property. I'm like, hey, Steffi, let's go check it out. And so that's what we would do. And I saw this home for sale. It was actually advertised as a residential home. And I told her, I was like, it looks very reminiscent of an old funeral home that I have in the town that I live, because I don't live in the same town as the mortuary. I live about an hour away. And I said, it's very reminiscent of something that we have locally, and it's a funeral home. So I looked up the address, and on the listing picture, you could see like the bench in front with the big cement flower pots. And so I looked up the address, and sure as shit, it was an old mortuary.
All right.
And so we booked it. We booked a viewing to go see it. And a lot of stuff happened during that thing. If you want me to go into it, I definitely will.
Yes, you were getting activity when you were just touring it as a potential buyer.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Tell me what happened.
Oh, yeah. I got to hear this.
So, the mortuary itself is about 15,000 square feet across 3 floors. It's 5,000 per floor. And we were in the first floor, and we were in what I call today the casket showroom. And we were kind of standing there, and in the casket showroom, there's like a little set of miniature stairs that go up into a flower room up there. And I was standing on the stairs, and Stephanie, she was standing, I believe, on the floor, and then the seller's realtor was also present because the homeowner had a bunch of instruments that were on display because he was a musician. And it was more of just like safety of property and just safety in general, because there was an old freight elevator in there that was cable run. So we were all standing in this flower room, and my little was with me as well. And we all heard like this, I call it a scream whisper. And it was like a very loud, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it with my AirPods, but it just went. And I looked at Stephanie. Did you guys hear that?
No.
No, it
No.
didn't come through, but
That's
it was
okay.
it was a scream that came through quietly, but with enough energy that you could
Right.
hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was like a whisper, but it was like if somebody were to try to yell as loud as they could in like a whisper, I mean, that's what I would equate it
Oh,
to.
okay.
I looked
Okay.
over at Stephanie. Stephanie snapped her head and looked over at me. And then because with my little, I was like, if anything happens, don't say a word, right? Just let it happen, right? And my little, she's like looking at me like that. And we all turn and we look at the seller's realtor, and he said, well, I don't know who else is here. We're supposed to be the only ones in the building. And he actually physically turned around to look for whoever was in the building, and it was just all of us. And that's actually what I placed my offer on, was the disembodied voice that we heard when we were touring the
Hell
building.
yes, that is
That's
awesome. And
awesome.
if you watched any of our episodes with Stephanie O'Reilly on it, you understand why I was laughing. Her reaction was probably just mwah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that woman, shout out Paranormal Wife, that woman reacts in the funniest freaking ways.
Yes, she
So I
does.
can only
Yes, she does.
imagine her face, and you were just like,
Yeah.
sold, done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a wrap.
Right?
Now,
Let's draw it up.
did he seem freaked out at all, or did he divulge anything
No,
that he knew when he sold it to
no,
you?
no, he didn't. And actually, I don't remember like kind of where the talking came in about the mortuary part of it, because we had met several times. The owner of the building actually came and he ran the elevator so we could go down to the basement and view the basement before placing an offer. And his name is Dylan, and he's an amazing individual. And he actually helps me today with the location. When he
Cool.
found out what I was doing, he thought it was absolutely amazing. And he's been such an asset and just really cool um, stories that he's given me. And like he's always willing to interview. He always puts up with my shenanigans. He's really a good dude. Um, so when we were talking about the mortuary, and like when I started talking to Dylan about like what my plans were for the building, he started to have conversations with me about things that he had experienced in the building. And I remember like during purchase, I was I expressed this to like my closest friends. I was like, what if it's not haunted? What if I'm gaslighting myself and I didn't really hear that? Maybe I heard it because I wanted to hear it. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
it's already in motion, offer placed and accepted. Um, it's just it takes about 3 months to get like a commercial loan to where it's like matured, everything's done and you can close on a property. So I
Yeah.
actually placed the offer at, it was like the tail end of September, at the beginning of October, and we finally closed in January. Um, but like during that 3 months, I'm like, what if nobody wants to come? What if it's not haunted? What if, like all of these like what ifs? But
Mhm.
then I started to talk to Dylan after closing, and he talked about the shadow man that he saw almost on a nightly basis there up on the second floor. He talked about um his mother had went into the embalming room, because we still have the original embalming room in there. And he talked about how his mother walked in there and she's like, man, I don't know, there's something bad in here, I don't like it. And but yeah, like so many stories. Needless to say, it ended up being a lot more haunted than I really ever imagined. Good for me. um Good experience, but I will tell you, like even as seasoned person, so to speak, that
Mhm.
building scares the shit out of me sometimes. I ain't even gonna lie.
Oh my God, we
Oh,
have to go
hell
now.
yeah.
Oh
Well,
my God, we
yeah.
have to get
I
up
mean,
there
of
now.
course, we're gonna find the time to get the hell up there for damn sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
So with the embalming room, I have to know, that's music to my ears. Embalming room,
Mhm.
any autopsy room, anything like that. Do you have any of the original stuff inside the original embalming
I
room?
don't. I don't. I wish I did, but I am a collector of weird and odd things. I will say that. I have a Civil War era cooling table in the
Ooh.
embalming room. I picked
Okay.
that up out of Omaha. Um I found that for sale. So that is in there available for people to lay on, sit on, whatever they want to do. But it's a Civil War era cooling table in there for sure.
I'm the weirdo that gets in the coffins and the morgue coolers and all that kind of shit. So I had to
You know,
ask.
I mean, I would too. I would too. That's why I make all of this stuff available.
I had to stop Ryan from locking me in one time. He really wanted to, but I was like, absolutely not. Do not close this door.
I mean, well,
Don't get me stuck.
We didn't want to get kicked out of the glory when that happened. So
Well,
Yeah,
and
sure.
Ryan actually did lock me in one at Waverly, so
I did.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So it's happened, and
man.
it can happen, peeps.
Yeah. I wish
What-
we had some of the original stuff. We do have a few of the original pieces from the mortuary. So originally, the mortuary was built by Lyman Sleeper in 1886. A lot of people think that the Sleeper name is just kind of a play on words for like the dead bodies, but it's not. It's
Mhm.
actually just an epic surname that totally plays in my favor. Thank you, Lyman. But he originally built the mortuary in 1886. Now, Lyman was a prominent businessman in Iola, and he was a furniture maker. So, a lot of times in the furniture making business, especially back in those days, they would kind of double dip in the pot and they would offer undertaking services because they could then make the caskets.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
the
okay.
original building was called Sleeper Furniture and Undertaking, and it was located exactly where Sleeper Mortuary stands today. It burnt down in January of 1915. The estimated total loss back then was $20,000, which would have been an astronomical amount of money
Yeah.
for back then. I do know that Lyman, the sleeper family and the furniture that they sold, people had come from all over to buy his pieces. And they unfortunately lost a bunch of it in the fire. I do know that
Oh.
there was a satellite mortuary from 1915 to 1920 that they operated out of, and I think I know where that's at, but I'm not entirely sure. But it's on the square, so within like a block or two of where the mortuary is now. In 1920, that's when my building was built, and it was Sleeper Furniture and Undertaking Services was actually the entire building on the whole city block. It's just been separated over time
Oh.
into separate businesses.
Man, that's the
So,
kind of business name I would love to have.
Right.
yeah,
Furniture and undertaking.
yeah,
Get your bed
yeah,
and your casket all in one stop shop.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
that this building was more haunted than even you could imagine it would have been.
Yes.
So who or what are your predominant spirits or mischief makers in the building?
One of like two of the most prominent, I would say, is Lyman Sleeper and his wife Eliza.
Oh, they're
Now,
both there.
yes. So Eliza a lot hangs out in the flower room, and she has come across on Spirit Box more than a couple of times. And she is kind of one of my favorites. She's so tender and kind, and
Aw.
just like the vibe that you get from her is very motherly and kind and cheery. I do have a clip on my TikTok. It's under Haunted Sleeper Mortuary, where a group was there and they asked if it was Eliza or something like that. And very clearly across the spirit box, you hear, "I'm Eliza."
Oh.
Eliza
Cool.
Sleeper was married to Lyman, and she actually died in 1922. And she died in Washington State. She wasn't even here. She died at at the house of her daughter. Um, to me it's kind of weird because Lyman actually never stepped foot in that building because he passed away in, I believe it was August of 1915, so he actually never saw the new building. And Eliza passed away 2 years after it was built, and I don't even think she lived in Iola when that, like, during those 2 years. I think she lived
Yeah.
with her daughter in Washington State. um and then the really cool part about all of this is we don't really know past that. We
So
get
so who
so
ran the
many names.
building for Eliza if she wasn't in the state? Who ran the building for her? Do we know?
Yes, it was their son, Alan Sleeper.
Got it.
He took over the family business in 1915 when Lyman passed away, and he ran it all the way up until 1958 when he passed away. Then his son, John, took over the family business. Now, John only had it for 2 short years because he passed away in a car accident in 1960 at the age, I believe he was 42 or 52 years old.
Dang.
He was on his way home from transporting a body to Kansas City. He fell asleep at the wheel and rolled the hearse, and he passed away in that accident. So that's when you see the building change from Sleeper Mortuary over to Porter Kinzer because they bought it from the Sleeper estate.
Got it.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
Do you
yeah.
ever have any members of the Sleeper family like showing up and asking you questions and wanting to come inside?
No, I have not. I actually have never seen another sleeper surname outside of a TikTok live I did one time, and a girl's maiden name was Sleeper, but I don't think that they were related. She just thought it was cool.
I was
Oh,
gonna say
okay.
that's not a very common
Mm-mm.
No,
surname at all. So
no.
I'm assuming that it's one genealogist here being like looking into it. Almost anybody with the last name surname would more than likely be
Hmm.
related down the line somewhere. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
I'm intrigued by all these young or sudden deaths that are associated with the property. Is there anything to have you been able to uncover anything with that?
They've had, I have record of 2,700 funerals in Lion States that took place in the building that I have.
Damn.
We get all kinds of names, and those are just the ones that are published. That's not including
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
ones that didn't pop up during my searching and, um, maybe things that weren't published. Because a lot of times, if you were dealing with like a pauper, they would not have any kind of death announcement in any
Right.
newspaper because they didn't really have kin that really,
Right.
it sounds terrible, but care enough to really, um, do that for them.
Yeah.
I don't know of anyone that died on property, but there was definitely a lot of um, deceased individuals that went through there. I do know that it hosted funerals to victims of homicide, victims of suicide. One of the ones that I remember it was in the late 1920s, I want to say, and there was a woman that lost her 3 children in 2 days to scarlet fever, and I want to say they were like 8, 6, and like 4, somewhere around in there, those ages.
Wow.
Mhm.
And all of their funerals were held at Sleeper Mortuary. And then
Mm.
about 11 years later, her husband committed suicide, and his funeral was also held at Sleeper Mortuary. Now, with that being said, we do have a weeping woman in the basement that you hear quite frequently, and she cries very, very loud. She's been caught on recorder. She is a very loud, disembodied cry. There was one night we were having a
You just gave me
event
chills all over
there.
my arm.
Yeah, we had an event there. It was the duo event back in, I believe it was September, because we were kind of kicking off spooky season, and we had all of the ticket holders there. There was some on the second floor, some on the first floor, and some in the basement, and all 3 floors heard her that night, all at the same
Wow.
time.
Whoa.
Everybody's like,
Oh, at the
"Who's
same
crying?" Like,
time.
hmm yeah.
Wow.
It was a
Poor
pretty
baby.
interesting night to say the least. Yeah.
I think we've
Oh
only
I've
my
never
God.
gotten a name
experienced,
associated with her.
yeah. I was gonna say I think we've only
Yeah,
experienced
I
something
I
like that
I
where
don't know
it's
who she is.
multiple levels within
Hmm.
one building one time.
One time,
One
and that
time.
was
It
that
was a
scream.
scream. It was a
It
scream
Yeah.
at
was a
Yorktown.
Yorktown.
scream, a
Yeah.
blood curdling scream.
That's crazy. That's cool. I like
It
hearing
was
those kind
it
of
was
stories.
yeah, it was so sorrowful that a male that was a ticket holder in the basement started weeping himself. It was so
Whoa.
sad sounding.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Wow.
powerful to move someone to tears like that.
Yeah.
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 Uh,
Well, yeah.
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 So you
Does her
said,
energy affect you whenever you go into the basement? Do you pick up on her sadness, and does that make it difficult for you to go into the basement at all?
I don't really, but also I think I kind of have um I don't know. Like you hear one of my good friends, Josh, heard from Malvern. You
Love
hear him
Josh.
talk about like um he's just the toilet paper stalker and he keeps the place clean and they don't really
Right.
mess with him. You know what I mean?
I think he said that when we had him on.
Yeah, I think he did too.
And he will tell everybody that. And I think there might be something to that because they don't really mess with me a whole lot. Now they do. Don't get me wrong. There's times where I'm like, all right, I'm going home. I'm done. Like, and that actually happened. It was, I want to say the day before Halloween or on Halloween itself. I was upstairs. I had somebody that had booked an event, and I was upstairs just doing my thingy thing, like getting papers, where they need to go and like shirts and whatever. And it sounded like somebody took a door and just slammed it at 100 miles an hour. The whole building shook. The tiles on the hallway ceiling sucked up. You could hear them suck up and come down. And I
Damn.
actually posted that video on Facebook. You see me immediately respond, like I turn around and I'm just standing there. I'm like, oh my, because I thought somebody was in the building. Um, I went home. Yeah, that's it. I went home.
Like just the bluntness. I went home. Oh,
Right.
God.
Yeah. I'm
Josh,
like, screw you guys, I'm going home.
I say Josh confirmed that yes, he did say that on the podcast when we had him on.
Mhm.
I had a question for you.
He
that
heard
popped
the
up in
weeping woman too.
Well,
Oh,
I'm glad
really?
you
Him and
brought
I
her
heard
back.
it.
I'm glad you brought her back up because you have a question in the comments about her. Somebody wanted to know if anyone has ever asked the weeping woman why she cries, and have y'all gotten an answer on that?
I personally haven't. I should. Um, but I just I don't know. Like sometimes I like to see what other people get first. That
Mm-hmm.
way, like I don't have a preconceived notion. And if I don't know that it happened, then I don't tell other people that, and then they don't know what happened. So, like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like whenever we share experiences and things like that, we're all looking for the paranormal, and we all want it. Like nobody wants to go anywhere and have a flat night. Like, is it going to happen? Yes, it
Yeah.
does, unfortunately, because they're not circus animals. They don't just do it. Although I wish they would. I'd bring all the candy in the world.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Kit Kat's
Let me
best.
get on the other side. I'll be a
Yeah.
performing monkey. I don't give a shit.
Right. And I'm like, come on, guys. I will say that there has not been very many people that have had a flat night. I actually had a group come in, check in is at 3. They didn't get there until 8, and they were out of the door by 8:30.
Oh, what
Really?
happened?
Damn.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
What happened?
So wait, hold on. It's solid answer before we move on. So nobody's asked her. We don't have an answer why she's crying.
No,
Okay.
no,
All right. Cool.
no. I haven't. I think other
Yeah.
people have, but I don't think anybody's ever gotten an answer.
Okay.
But yeah, I had a group leave 30 minutes after they got there.
Oh yeah. Gotta
Um,
tell us that.
So there is a room upstairs. I just call it the Marco Polo room because that's where we got a Marco Polo EVP, and it's the
That's
gray
fun.
room. It's the gray room over by what I call the small living room, and it's actually on the side where the Oddfellows casket is on display over there. Um, but she said she walked in and it smelled like cigarette smoke, which nobody smokes in there. It's not a smoking facility. She said it smelled like cigarette smoke and it felt like somebody was present in the building with her, and she can do it. She can do it. She left.
Wow.
But that's
And
what
then
she went there for.
Right.
I think she said that she felt like there was an actual person there. Like the feeling was
Okay.
so strong that there was an
Mm.
actual person there. So I did check all of the cameras. I do have cameras up there. I checked all of the cameras. I didn't see anybody but her in there. And then she asked me if she could come back the next day and try again. And I'm like, absolutely. She came back and she left maybe 20 minutes later. She just couldn't do it.
Really?
Damn.
Wow. Second time.
Yeah.
So was she extremely sensitive? I'm just
That
curious.
was where my brain went,
Is
Shelley.
she
Yeah.
is she extremely empathetic? Is she empathic? I mean, what's
I honestly don't know. I
Mm.
didn't ask because I don't ever want to make people feel like embarrassed. Because I'll be the first to tell you, like I get scared and go home. So like I can't blame anybody else for doing it. You know what I mean? And I just don't ever
Mhm.
want to put anybody on the spot to feel like,
Yep.
like I'm judging them for it,
Yeah.
like because I get it. Sometimes shit's scary.
It
Right.
is.
People who tell you that they're not
So,
scared, they're lying out the ass
But
to
that's
you. I'm
true.
telling you,
Everybody gets
like
scared.
everybody gets
Mhm.
scared like shit. They ain't gonna
Mhm.
fault nobody for leaving if they feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to back up a little bit because I'm a sucker for secret societies and like stuff like that. You did say that there was an Oddfellows casket in there. What is the connection to the Oddfellows and Sleeper Mortuary?
So I actually found this Oddfellows casket on Facebook Marketplace for sale. I knew
Damn, of
what I
all
was looking
places.
at. Yeah, I knew what I was looking at when I saw it.
Hmm.
I ended up snatching it right up because in my brain, I'm like, oh, it's a casket, funeral home casket, put a casket
Hmm.
on display, right? That was like my original line of thinking with it. And then I got the story of the casket, and it turns out that it's an original Oddfellows casket from about 1870. Um, what we do know is that it once held the body of a 14-year-old Native American female. It's unknown how long she was in the casket,
Hmm.
but when the Oddfellows chapter closed, they ship all of the memorabilia to centralized locations and they auction it off. And then that money goes back into the Oddfellows organization. So, what we do know, according to the auctioneers from the lady that I purchased it from, she purchased it in the early 2000s. What she was told was this female was taken out of the casket in the mid 1990s and buried in a cemetery in Guthrie Center, Iowa. We don't know her name, don't know
Hmm.
how long she had been in there. We do know that she was used as props in plays. So her body was put on display for the public. Um,
Hmm.
Oh.
Hmm.
which is kind of odd in itself because the Oddfellows don't typically use real human bodies. They will use skeletons, but never like a whole human body.
Yeah.
Inside the casket is human biological material. You can see where she started to decompose in the casket. You can see where her ribs were. You could see where her spine was. You could see where her head and legs were. It's it's honestly a very rare piece, and
Right.
most people will never see anything like that again in their lifetime.
Right, because most
Right.
biological material that would have to be destroyed before it was sold,
Hmm.
just for
Yeah,
health hazard reasons. So yeah,
yeah,
wow, that's a fascinating piece.
it
So
is.
do you get a lot of like activity around that casket then? Because if that's such has such like a tragic backstory, with
I
her
will
being put on
say,
display and everything.
yeah, I will say I never expected to have anything associated with the casket when I bought it. I just bought it
Hmm.
because I love I love weird stuff. Like
Hmm.
when you walk into the mortuary, you'll see it because I have like a vintage last rites box from the 1920s. I have Victorian mourning wreaths, just a bunch of old stuff that I just think is cool. Um, but about 30 minutes after I set that casket up, I caught my singing ghost on my security camera. And you just hear her do a series of oohs, and then she says, "I love you." And it's a very playful young female um,
Hmm.
singing on the
Wow.
security camera about 30 minutes after I set the casket up.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I will say people do get activity with the casket, but it's very intermittent.
Hmm.
It's not really like a concrete thing. And I don't know if it's the casket that's doing it or if it's the spirits already associated with sleeper that are making you think that it's the casket that's doing it. So I don't
Hmm.
know.
So do you have, because you said that sounds like a young female that's doing the
Yeah,
singing. Do you have a lot of child spirits associated with Sleeper Mortuary?
I do actually. I do.
Really?
Somebody had caught an EVP of because they were talking to I have a haunted doll. Well, she was advertised as haunted, Claire. Now, I will say that Claire was in my home for 3 years and I never had any kind of activity in my home associated with her ever. And then once I took her to the mortuary, then people were starting to get EVPs associated with this doll. Um, the doll, a lot like people have asked her name, and she's given several different names, and that's why I don't think that it's actually the doll. I think it's like the spirits from the mortuary speaking through the doll, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But they were going to take Claire with them on a tour. They like, would you like to have a tour? And then you hear, I can't remember what the EVP said. It was like, let's go or yes. And then you hear like these little tiny footsteps running away. It's like, so that was an
Wow.
EVP that was
How
caught. Yeah.
cool. Oh god, that's
Yeah.
freaking awesome.
So, something else you said earlier too. You said that the whole block used to be the Sleeper Mortuary, and now it's
Yes.
divided into all these other businesses. Do your neighbors ever come to you and be like, "Hey, whatever you're doing, please stop," because we're getting all kinds of stuff?
No, actually, I've gotten a very good response from the city of Viola, overall as a whole.
Love that.
The
Mhm.
guy that is in the business next door now, I don't know if he owns it or if he just works there, not entirely sure. But I had walked over there one day because, well, I'm a dumbass sometimes, and I was trying to change my lockout, and it got all stuck, and I couldn't fix it. Like, so I just went to the first mail that I found, which happened to be that guy, and asked him if he would come help me with it because I couldn't lock my building without it. So he came over, and it turned out that when it was a funeral home in the 70s, it was either the 70s or 80s, he actually helped the Friskells, which were the last people to own it. He helped in the mortuary, and he actually gave me a tour of my own building and told me where certain things took place at. And he thought it was really cool,
Oh,
to
that's
walk
so
in it
That's
cool.
again.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so cool.
You
yeah,
picked someone who actually was familiar with the building and had probably
yeah,
struggled with that lock himself, maybe. Depending on
yeah.
how old the lock
Right.
was.
Well, we were putting on a new push button lock,
Ah,
because the one, so I'll tell you like a snafu that happened was I was in Iowa picking up the old Oddfellows casket that I purchased off Facebook Marketplace, and I had push button entry lock. Well, the battery died on it, and I
oh
had
no.
just replaced them the day before. So my group had to wait 4.5
No.
hours for me to get home from picking up the damn casket. To let them in the building because I didn't have any alternative. That is now fixed. That will never happen again.
There you go.
I have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and
There you
then
go.
if we go through all of those, then the
It's
night's on
just not
me,
meant to
I
be.
guess.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, you weren't meant to investigate that night if we have to go through A, B, and C. Like Jesus.
Right. Right. Yeah. So,
That's really good.
but
So
he
I'm
did
real.
share a lot of interesting information with me as far as that goes. Now, he did say that he's never experienced anything paranormal in the building himself. I don't think that he discounts that it happens, but for him personally, he never had any kind of experiences that he could recall.
I always love when people from the past of a building show up. Like we
Hmm.
just
Mhm.
heard recently told about Old Park with the owners there that they had somebody show up too and like told them where certain things are. I love hearing that because not only
Yeah.
you get more stories, but you yourself as an owner get confirmation of certain things
Yeah.
too, where
Yeah.
certain things happen. That's so freaking cool.
Yeah. I
I love
loved
So,
it.
that.
I loved every bit of it.
so being the relatively new owner of this building, um, is there a particular room in the building that just fascinates you that you're drawn to for whatever reason that you always feel like you have to go check on that room. You don't know why, but there might be something going on in there, or maybe just to make sure that room's okay. Is there one that you're pulled to?
There's not one in particular that I'm pulled to. I am so in love with my building. I just absolutely adore it. And but I will tell you that I've noticed like different things over time. We haven't been open, but like we're going right at a year.
Mhm.
And I've noticed that the activity has changed a lot, from where it used to be to where it is now, how intense it is. One of the cool things about the mortuary is you get some badass EVPs out of that building. The very first EVP that was caught, it was Stephanie and Melissa in the flower room, and it was two females in the flower room, and you hear one female say, "Are they dead yet?" And the other one says, "They're cold." And it was none of them. Like if you were
Wow.
not, if you if you people listening to it that were not present would think that it was just human beings talking because it had like a
Hmm.
human timbre to the voice.
It
It
was that
wasn't a
clear.
whisper. It was very clear, and it was like two women just having a conversation. By far
Wow.
one of the best ones I've heard, among the top ones that I've heard. I've heard some pretty good ones, and that definitely ranks towards the top. But you get so many EVPs, and I always tell people to go back and listen to their evidence because I guarantee you, like it is full of chatter. If you just stop and you put in headphones and you listen, there's words, sentences everywhere, everywhere. It's so
Okay.
crazy.
So it's going to be, so then we need to be prepared, y'all, like we did whenever we went to Indiana State, because that place is very chatter filled as well.
Yeah.
We did not, we thought we had a quiet night, and lo and behold, oh my God, when we went back and reviewed, we did not. So it seems like it's going to be very much kind of that place as well. That's so cool. And I was laughing earlier, sorry, because you said Melissa and Stephanie, and I'm like, God, I can only
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, we
Oh, that's
know
it.
we know
Had
them.
they
I bet it
had
was a
they heard
blast.
had they heard that out loud,
Now, disembodied
would crack
voices
a
is
man.
also a thing. I've caught those on tape before too. Um, I've heard a disembodied male voice, and it's weird because I do have a video clip of that as well. I was setting up a live stream, and I was on like TikTok live, and I was setting up my iPad on YouTube to do a TikTok live stream, and I was basically having people from my TikTok live stream check my YouTube to make sure that everything was up because I couldn't look at it simultaneously. And because it's just me, like I don't have anybody else to really help me do that kind of stuff. And I'm just winging it, if I'm honest. I'm learning as I go. But anyway, I heard a male like moan, and I was like, I perk up and I was like, what was that? Anybody else hear that? And they're like, yeah, I heard that. I have no idea what that was. And just before it, like I was going back and looking, I pulled the footage off of my TikTok live, and just before that, because I was talking about having to pick my kiddo up from school, so I had to leave by a certain time, and there's an EVP just before that moan that said, "Don't go," and then you hear a moan, so it's like very intelligent. It was like it was trying to communicate, couldn't get through with an EVP, and then that's, I guess, the best that they could muster. I don't know, but it's a very interactive building, very intelligent responses. I do think that we have a lot of residual too. A lot of reports of like walking. We have a disembodied whistler too. Several people have heard him
Hmm.
whistling. I
I
guess he's
love
whistling
those.
while he works. I don't know, but it's I have caught that. I've caught that on video as well. The whistling. Several people have actually. Um, but it's like a very laid back, it's like Negan off of The Walking Dead. I don't know. It's just it's very creepy when you hear it. But yeah, we have a disembodied whistler. Um, what else? When people are trying to sleep at night, you hear a lot of pacing, walking in the hallway, heel to toe footsteps. Um, what else do we have? Anybody in the comments can help me out too if you've
Oh,
been there.
you've
And
yeah,
Yeah.
they've all with like the flower room, great clear
yeah,
EVPs, like all kinds of
Hmm.
stuff. So I want to
yeah.
ask you a question, kind of turn from the evidence that you get there into something else. With it being the mortuary, obviously you're probably gonna have a crap ton of spirits, which you said you get a lot of names and stuff like that.
hmm
Have y'all gotten any confirmation as to from the spirit side as to why there's so many, especially I'm intrigued by the intelligent ones that may be sticking
Right.
around in a mortuary, which I understand final place of death and rest and all that kind of stuff. But
But shouldn't be their happy place. Shouldn't be where they
right.
Right.
want to
So
hang
Right.
out.
have
Right.
y'all been told from the spirits that are there as to why they're still there?
I have not gotten any kind of confirmation at
Mhm.
all. Um, I I've asked questions regarding that, and I've never gotten any kind of clear answer ever.
Hmm.
And personally, with all of the names that I get, sometimes I wonder if they're very transient, if they come and go as they
Hmm.
please, because you get like several, really the only constant names that we've gotten is Lyman and Eliza. Those are the two very prominent. We have gotten John a few times, although I don't know if it's John Sleeper, um, because I mean John's a very common name. Like you don't
Right.
hear Lyman very
Right.
often.
Right.
And Eliza is more of kind of putting two and two together, you know. And sometimes I wonder if maybe Eliza's there just because Lyman's there. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's a
Yeah.
very interesting concept because we haven't really been open long enough to really figure it out
To
either.
be
And
able,
that's one of
yeah.
the
Right.
cool parts is we're still learning. We're still learning what makes them tick. When I first opened, it took forever to get equipment to go off. Like EVPs seem to be very common. Disembodied voices were very, very common, but to get equipment to go off, that took a little while. It was kind of weird. It was like a learning curve.
Right,
Um,
because they know how to
Yeah.
speak. They
That I was
didn't
just about to
know
say
Yeah.
to
that. Yeah.
touch the little button and
yeah,
Yeah.
make things light
Hmm.
up. Right.
That
yeah,
actually adds a bit of credibility to the building itself. The fact that when you first went in, like no equipment was going off, but you were getting EVPs like crazy. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
we do this every day. We converse every day, so that's
Right.
Hmm.
natural. And then they're
Yeah,
like, "Oh shit, I can touch that," and it'll light up, and then all those people will go running and screaming.
yeah, yeah. And
Now
then
it's
like
entertainment.
yeah, and it was cool to watch it kind of morph to where like a REM pod would go off, right? Well,
Hmm.
and let me clarify, it wasn't ever for me. It took me forever to get my REM pod to go off. They would do it for everybody else but me. That just didn't happen. Um, but like a REM pod would go off and it was like it would go off and it would stay on and stay on and stay on. It was like, oh, now I turned it on. Now I don't know how to turn it off. And then it moved from that to now we're doing it on command. There's several
Hmm.
instances where people are like, can you touch the REM pod and it'll go off? Okay, can you step away from it? And they would step away, like it would turn off. Um, the Sam, she was there
Mysterious
with an
Sam.
event.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sam from the Mysterious
Yeah.
Sam and Mike. Love
Yeah.
them.
yeah. So they had a tripwire set up in the chapel in front of the child's casket that I have down in the chapel.
Hmm.
They had one going horizontal and one going vertical, and then they had a REM pod at the end of it. In about a 30-second span, it set off every single node on both tripwire lights. They went off in succession, and then hit the REM pod at the end in about 30 seconds.
Hell yeah,
That
that's
is so cool.
awesome.
Wow.
During an event, we had an obnoxious amount of equipment. This was during the duo event. And actually, if Josh is still here in the comments, he was actually present when this took place. But we had like three or four strands of tripwire lights, and then I want to say there was like a REM pod or two and something else. It was an obnoxious amount. And then we were all sitting there, and all of a sudden, every single tripwire strand went off, every single REM pod that was sitting in the room, it all went off at the same time. It all went off and then turned off, and then like two of the tripwire lights were dead. The batteries were drained in it.
Oh, wow.
Holy
So they
Yeah,
crap.
it
figured
was.
out how to drain the batteries too. That part I don't like. Don't teach them how to do that anymore.
People have drained batteries all the time, all the time. People will go in there to film and they'll put their camera battery in and they're like, well, it's dead. I'm like, I'm not surprised. It happens all the time.
So I was
Yeah.
kind of thinking about what Blake, you had asked the question about why would they come back to a mortuary? 'Cause again, that wouldn't be their happy place. That wouldn't be where they go. But do you think, Tori, that you might have perhaps portal openings? Because I would think that if I had passed away, that I would want to go back to the last place where I saw all my family together to see if they were still there. And maybe that's why they stepped back in. Maybe they looked for a connection there they were able to have immediately after passing. Do you think there's any kind of portals or anything in your building that allow that kind of pass through? You know, that kind of paranormal subway that takes you where you want to go and then you go somewhere else?
Maybe. I'm
Maybe.
not entirely sure. I don't know. I do know that I know that paranormal activity has been happening in that building for a very long time. I've had people come forward from when, like a nanny, before that watched some of the children of the owners back in the 60s and 70s, because the second floor was always like the living quarters part, which
Mm-hmm.
was not uncommon for
Mm-hmm.
the families of the undertakers and stuff to live above their funeral homes, because then they would just go downstairs, get in their hearse, go pick whoever up that they needed to pick up, and then bring them back, do their thing, and then go back upstairs and go to bed. So that's not really an
Right.
uncommon practice. And in fact, people still do that today.
Hmm.
But they talked about how they were a nanny for the family, and the kids were always scared of the closet. Now, she never specified what closet, but the kids were always scared of the closet, and that was back in the 60s and 70s. I had an interaction with a police officer. He was there for a completely unrelated reason. I had like, I'll tell you guys that backstage, but I had to speak to a police officer in regards to something. I don't want to give somebody the attention that they don't deserve. You know what I
Got it.
mean?
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um, so, but he started asking me like what I was doing with the building, and this is kind of like back when I first started, when I first opened, and he said that he was one of the original police officers, that would answer the 911 calls of the college students that lived there. They would hear people in the building talking in the building, and they would call 911 thinking that somebody had trespassed into the building. And so he would come, he would search the building, and he would never find anybody. And then he followed that up with everybody in town knows this building is haunted. Um,
Hmm.
so
That's
I
what
can
you like
find
to
that,
hear.
From a
Yeah.
yeah,
police
I can
officer.
find that it was
Yeah.
a college dorm for about um, maybe 3 months. That's how long the college dorm lasted
Yeah.
before all of the college students packed up all their shit and left all on the same night.
I said, fuck this shit, I'm out.
No, I would have
Yeah.
been like,
Yeah.
can I live here forever? No, I don't
That
want to
sounds like
visit.
Um,
that sounds like the making of a great horror movie, though.
Really does.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the paranormal activity for them was quite intense. Like you're talking like poltergeist activity, that kind of stuff. They
Hmm.
were all out of state college students. They were not from around here. They didn't even know it was a mortuary when they moved into
Right.
it. It was something the college bought. They changed into college rooms, and they didn't even have access to the first floor. Um, so the paranormal activity for them was quite intense from what I
Hmm.
understand. The police were going there all the time, answering 911 calls for intruders and the like. And they finally had enough one day, and they bounced.
So where's your residential assignment? Oh, the dorm of the damned? I don't know.
Yeah.
where are you located
Take me,
at? I
please,
am.
please, please.
Yeah, I'm in room 3 of the gates of hell. Is where I'm at.
Please, please, please.
Like,
Now, I will tell you the scariest thing that ever happened to me in that building.
Yeah.
So I'm an agency nurse, so I travel for work all the time.
Mhm.
And this particular night, I was traveling up to my assignment in northern Kansas, and I had a group coming in for the weekend. So I went in and I stopped by the mortuary on my way to work in order to kind of clean up and make sure everything is as should be to make everybody comfortable when they come. And I had got everything done that I needed to. Long story short, I walked down the big staircase and out the garage door, sat in my car, realized I left my glasses up on the bar in the kitchen because I take them off. I've reached the ripe age where I can't see close up with my glasses on, and I can't see far away without them. So it's kind of an impasse. So I take them off when I'm just doing normal things. So, like, literally, the garage door had just closed, and I pushed the button to open the garage door again so I can go up and get the glasses that I need. And when my foot crossed the threshold into the garage, I automatically knew shit was about to pop off. It was palpable, like it smelled like
Mm.
static. It was
Oh.
heavy. It was that feeling when you're a kid, when you flip off your light switch and you dive into your bed because you're scared something's going to get your ankles when you're trying to get into bed,
Mhm.
just because you're a kid and you're scared. I That was the feeling that I have. It was just pure, like I was on edge. So I'm going up the big staircase, and as you walk into when you walk up the back staircase, you walk into like the big living room, which is where off of the kitchen where my glasses were.
Mhm.
And when I there's a long hallway that where all of the bedroom doors are, and then it's backlit by all of the windows in the small living room. When I crossed the hallway, I looked down it, and that was the biggest shadow person I have ever seen in my life.
Oh.
He was as tall as the ceiling. He had like a fedora on, and you could clearly see like the outline of a face, shoulders. You could see his arms down to his side. He was tall and skinny, but his bottom half looked like a blob. Like it didn't have any shape to it, like for legs. I ran like a track star. Like I was done.
That's an eerie resemblance to a lot of descriptions of the Hat Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't stick around to find out. I saw him and I was done.
Did you get your glasses?
I did.
Shelley.
I
did.
Shelley's like, did we fix the problem at least?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you were
you went
terrified.
through all that. Did you at least leave with the item that you were willing to
Yeah,
terrorize
I
yourself to
did.
go and
Yeah.
retrieve?
I did. I
We
will
got the
say
glasses.
this.
We got to go change the pants now. That's the
Yeah.
issue.
Right.
Like,
Right. I ran down those stairs like 2 and 3 at a time. Like I was skipping, and like the whole time it felt like something was behind me. But I
Ooh.
also think that was fear. I think that
Yeah.
was fear.
Right.
Yeah.
I will
Was that
say,
the first time?
yes, that's the first and only time I've ever seen it.
Oh, fuck
Um,
that. That's like, here's the first
That's the
time.
only time you hope you see him anyway.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit.
But also, I do think that that is who the previous owner was seeing on a nightly basis because it was on the
Oh.
second floor,
Fuck.
on the same
Mm-mm.
end.
And the second floor
So,
was the
right.
residential area?
Yes.
Okay.
The
It's
guy
a
that I bought it from lived there for just shy of 10 years. Him and his family lived there for just shy of 10 years.
So I would
well,
be curious as to how Mr. Lyman was dressed for his funerals. Was he a tall man? What did he normally wear? Do you think that
that
could have
don't
been
sound
Mr.
like
Lyman?
Lyman.
I don't know. I haven't seen a picture of him.
He is actually in the intro picture. That old photo
Let's see
that
if
you
I can
have.
upload it real
He
quick and
is
I will
he is
put it
the
on the
one
screen.
in the front center. Now you can't see him very well. But he looks like a rather small dude, like if you ask
Okay.
me. But
Right.
he's the one in the center of the picture. That one
With
in
the
front of like not the
With the
chubby one, the other one. I don't know
handlebar
how to
mustache.
describe him.
In front of the great
Yeah.
looking thing.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. All right.
You
Yeah, he
guys
don't
want to
look like a
notice
very tall
something
man.
funny while you have that up? Did you
Okay.
notice the chair upside down on the top left of the picture?
Oh yeah.
No, just now.
huh.
Huh. I wonder if that's how they stored things.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Interesting. That's funny. Okay.
Now
Yeah, he doesn't look like a very tall man. I think somebody you're
Uh-uh.
describing as big and tall
Right.
as the ceiling. I don't think is going to match his size.
I don't
Right.
even know
think,
how tall those ceilings are. They've got to be like they're above a standard doorway. So what is a standard
Yeah.
doorway? Like 7
well,
foot?
about 7 foot ish, something like that. So, and
Mhm.
especially being built in 1920,
I
if you
mean-
don't have a lowered ceiling, your ceiling is going to
Mhm.
be higher anyway. So if he's closer to the ceiling,
Well,
you're talking
this
about
is a drop
freaking-
ceiling in the
Okay, all right.
hallway. It's a drop ceiling. It
Okay, so
actually
you're
covers up all of the beautiful tin that they had, but I think that that's what happened when they remodeled it for the college
Mhm.
dorms.
Got
But
it.
there is a drop ceiling in the hallway, but it's
You're probably
still
around 8.5 to 9 feet at that point, maybe. Being a commercial building, it may be a little bit taller than a residential building. So if this thing is around, let's say 8 feet, I don't think that's going to be a normal spirit. And also at the same point, the amount of fear that you felt,
Right.
yeah.
I don't know if that would come with a former owner of the building.
Well, and
I don't know.
that's a lot of the Hat Man description too. That feeling of
Yeah.
like dread and fear. And I have seen a giant shadow figure in a hallway that went up to the ceiling like that, and it scared the crap out of me. Luckily, I was
Yeah.
with people. I can't imagine being by my damn self and seeing
Like,
that.
woo.
And Ryan still ran like the chicken shit he is. No, I'm just kidding.
Bullshit! I stood my ground. You were right there.
He stood right behind me, Blake.
You weren't. No.
little 5'2" Shelly with 6 foot
No.
Ryan behind her.
6'3"
him.
Ryan.
Yeah, she's like, it's okay, I got you.
What'd you say, Tori?
Ryan was tip of the
I was like,
spear on
she's
that
gonna get him.
excursion.
I will. I'll go
Yeah.
get him. I
Well,
ain't
that's
sure.
why we sick her on everything. Don't let her.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's
No.
a vicious little chihuahua, but she will do some damage.
Something happens, I go running towards it. I'm like, oh, what was that? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, let's go find out.
Like
So
I knew that day that something was going to happen. I just didn't think it was going to be that. Like I wasn't expecting that at all, and I think that that's what startled me so bad about the whole thing. Now, I will say it didn't move. It didn't come towards me. It didn't have an aggressive posture. It didn't I mean, it quite literally just looked like a giant shadow person standing there. Like nothing happened outside of that,
Yeah.
but like the environment was very dense. I don't know how to describe it. It was
No,
Right.
I know
Heavy.
exactly
I know
what
what
you're
you mean.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dense and charged,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Like just
Yeah.
very like in your face. So with you having that experience and all the stories that you've heard of experiences within the building, I'm curious because being a team of two guys and a woman, do you see men or women be infected more or experiencing more within the building over the other one, or is it
Yeah, do they
pretty
have a preference?
equal?
I haven't noticed a whole lot. Now, I will say, um, in the casket room, in the casket showroom downstairs,
Mhm.
it's on the opposite side of the chapel, and you'll know it when you see it. But down there, it seemed like for a while when males were talking about going up to talk to Eliza, you would
Mhm.
get a lot of get outs, leaves, fuck yous. Those were common EVPs that people would get,
Hmm.
sometimes growling. And at first, I thought maybe it was just Lyman being protective
Mhm.
over Eliza because, I mean, you got all these strange people coming to talk to her, and like initially, I thought it was more of a like a protective response, I guess.
Mhm.
But then like it doesn't seem to matter. Like I don't know if they're just sick of our bullshit or if like I don't know, something seems crabby. You know what I mean? Something seems crabby here lately. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it seemed at first it seemed like it was kind of males that it was like crabby too, but now it's just everybody.
They're finally at the point where they're like,
Just like-
you knock on a fucking wall. You go touch the damn piece
Yeah.
of equipment.
Right.
It's like, I'm just trying to chill. Not tonight. Why the fuck are you here? What do you want?
Right.
Yeah,
Ah,
it's the very
okay, hold
first,
on,
and
wait,
not
you
tonight, I have a
actually-
headache.
You actually have from the comments, Mysterious Mike and Sam said last time out we split up men versus women, and women by far got more activity than the men.
That
Hmm.
I mean, it makes sense.
So
I mean,
we said. So what
especially-
I'm hearing is we sent Shelly by herself.
I'm in. I'll go. I have no
I knew
fear.
she
I'll do
would
it.
be.
Which room?
I
When
knew
can
like
we
she
be
I
there?
would be.
Tomorrow?
I think that you would have very good luck with Eliza. I really, really do. And I think that you would have very good luck with the weeping woman in the basement.
Me?
Hmm.
I think so too,
Yeah.
because you said that and my whole arm chilled up and I kind of got this little lump in my throat and I kind of get this, this kind of constriction in my chest from you said that she just cries.
Well,
And-
and
Yeah.
you are Shelley is very affected by like some of the emotions of some of these spirits in a lot of these places. So.
But think about it, Ryan. Of women, though, specifically, think of all the
Mhm,
different
yeah.
places we go to. You got the brothel girls at Old Park. You've got Betsy at Yorktown. You've got the Lois at Waverly.
Lois at Waverly,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean,
Lois.
all of those have affected Shelley.
You just say
sexually.
Lois and I get teary. Yeah,
No,
Lois.
Yeah.
see, and they've all affected Shelley in some way like that. So yeah, she may be able to. Maybe you need to go down and ask the weeping woman why.
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm in.
You know,
Okay.
like a part of me wondered if it was the woman that lost her 3 children and then her
Hmm.
husband 11 years later.
Could be.
Now, here is another story for you that makes me wonder if this is the weeping woman. Back in the 1980s, I think they bought it like in the 60s or 70s. It was Pat and Paul Friskel, Pat being short for Patricia. They were a husband and wife duo. They ran the funeral home. The Friskells are actually very common, and they still own funeral homes in this area, actually in the town that I live. Now, in the late 1980s, they lost their two daughters and I believe five grandchildren in a train versus car accident.
Oh,
They all died that
Ooh.
day.
Oh no.
oh my
That
God.
is a lot. That is a
That is
lot
a lot.
for any human.
Yeah.
So sometimes I wonder if it's Patricia.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, you know
Could
what?
be.
That would make more. That
That
would make more
she
sense.
probably would have been told that while they lived there. And that pain, if she did scream and cry, might have really scarred that building.
Oh, that'd be terrible. It would just be
It
terrible. I
it
couldn't
very
imagine.
much that actually makes more sense to me than a random transient spirit or a possible spirit that
Hmm.
was that whose body went
Yeah.
through there and was buried, or even the lady who lost her three kids. That makes
Yeah.
a lot more sense that it could be her
Hmm.
over
Yeah.
anybody. God dang,
Basically, an
that's
entire
rough.
family wiped out
Yeah,
in moments, and
Yeah.
yeah, that
that's a
would
lot.
definitely leave an imprint, and you could see why perhaps that spirit didn't leave, because maybe
Hmm.
Hmm.
she's trapped in a pain loop
Yeah.
where
Hmm.
she relives this because she could never. I mean, and who could ever really truly get past that or move
Oh,
on from that?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Let me go
Absolutely.
talk to her.
yeah.
I'll go
Do it.
talk to her.
Do
And
it.
Tori's like, when you coming? What's going on?
Do it.
Talk to her.
So, I mean, we know that they have emotions on the other side, as evident with
Yeah.
the weeping woman. Like, what is something the most funny thing that has happened there to you? Like, have you encountered anything from the other side
Um.
like that?
Um. No. I mean, like I laugh about a lot of the stuff that happens. Like you get like jump scared or whatever, and
Right.
and you kind of laugh or whatever. But I haven't caught like a ghost fart or like a ghost touch or anything like that. Although I think that'd be really cool.
Hmm.
I'm over here replying to
Um,
comments, and all I hear is ghost fart, and I'm like, oh, all right, that's where we're going.
a phantom fart.
Right.
Um, wouldn't that be cool though? Like on EVP, it just sounds like
I
somebody farts. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, they probably did in real life because there was a guy I used to investigate with who was always telling me there was a stinky ghost in this one location, and
it was
invariably,
probably
you know
him.
what really happened? Yeah, I'd be behind
Yeah.
him and be like, "Hey, the stinky ghost is here." I'm like, "Dude, that was no." Yeah.
Yeah. So I have this saying that I say at the mortuary. I always say, "Damn it, Lyman." And the where that little saying comes from is Stephanie and I, the day that we closed, we went to Walmart to get some stuff because we were going to be there for a while. So we
Hmm.
went to go get some stuff. And as we were standing in like one of the aisles, like we literally were standing looking at the opposite side, and behind us, like bread fell out of like the shelf onto the floor. And I
Cool.
just turned around. I'm like, damn it, Lyman. And so now that's just kind of been anything
The
that goes
man wanted a
wrong that's
sandwich.
weird. Yeah. I'm like, damn it, Lyman. I need to get a t-shirt made for that for sure.
I think you
That
definitely
that
need a
would be
T-shirt that
cute
says
as
that.
hell. So
I think he enjoys it.
I want to ask Ryan and Shelley because I want to give her enough time to promote and everything like that. Do you have any other final questions for her since we're getting close to the end?
Well, since she's
No.
going to tell us how to book and everything like that, no,
Yeah.
I'm ready for her
Yeah,
information.
Shelley's like, give me how
That's-
to book. Give me how
I
to
said
book.
no. I'm just excited to go. When we going?
Me too. Me too. Well, sorry, I'm going to turn it over to you for a minute, and if you want to let
All
everybody
right.
know, you can talk about your books, where they can find you, promote. And how
Yeah,
to book.
Christmas is coming
Yeah.
up. I know what I would like. Sleeper
Abs-
Mortuary.
One of the cool things about Sleeper Mortuary is we are temperature controlled. The entire 5,000 square foot upstairs is temperature controlled. It has heat and air. It's got 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, all with working showers. It's got a full kitchen. You can cook for your team there. It is on the first floor, half of it is temperature controlled with heat only, not air conditioning, because the chapel side is broken. Um, all you need to do is bring an air mattress and some bedding, and it's like walking into your own home. It's pretty comfortable for the most part, and all 3 floors are active. You can book on www.sleepermortuary.weebly.com. You just go to the calendar tab. It shows my Google Calendar, what's available, what's not. I'm running a special in January where it's $300 a night as opposed to 600. And yeah, You can contact me on Facebook. You can TikTok is Haunted Sleeper Mortuary. That's about it.
How about your
Awesome.
The
books?
books
Where
are
can they
like
find
an
your books?
entire just message me. They're
About book.
basically they're almost like a whole nother show. They're not a typical chapter book. Basically, I take a deep dive into paranormal locations and I find every documented death I can find on property, and I put them in alphabetical order by first name. And on their page, each person has a page, and on their page it has like their death certificate, death announcements, obituaries, find a grave information. It's basically just a paranormal field guide to certain locations, well, the ones that I've done, that gives you a topic of conversation so you know who their kin is, and it just gives you something to talk about. It also has
That's
like an
cool.
interesting news section. It has
Hey.
census records, plat maps. It puts their information in alphabetical order by last name, by year of death, by month of death, so you can you should be able to find anybody pretty easily through the book. But they were made for paranormal investigators. And I also, like I said, I'm a huge nerd. Anybody that didn't have a Find a Grave, I created one for them and I uploaded all the documents that I could find on them up online so that their families can find them. So
Awesome.
basically, I just give them free access to information I pay to have. So
So,
that's it.
That's
out of
awesome, though.
curiosity, what are some of the locations that you have written about?
Malvern Manor, Edinburgh Manor, Randolph County Infirmary, Asylum 41, McIntyre Villa. What else? I'm missing one. I feel like I did
Well,
my
when you've
local
written
poor
eight, it's kind of
farm.
hard.
I did my local poor farm. I did a We Are Malvern Manor News, which is like basically all the news associated with the cottage hotel and the nursing home when it was a nursing home. I think that's it. And Asylum 49 is not done yet. I have We Are the Children. I call it the We Are series. I have We Are the Children of Asylum 49. So it's everybody under the age of 18 that died on that
Mm.
property. And then there is actually 5 parts. I have one part done because there was, God, I want to say over 2,000 people that I found that died on that property.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
Love that. So
It's
special
amazing.
coming in January. So you know what to get me for, get your friends for Christmas. I love that. Y'all make sure go and book Sleeper Mortuary. Holy cow. Well, and
Absolutely.
I guess with that, Blake, why don't you tell them everything they need to know?
Okay, bear with us. We got a few announcements that we'd like to make, and then we'll get this wrapped up, y'all. If you want to support the show directly, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/EVP podcast. For just $5 a month, you'll unlock over 450 Patreon exclusive videos, including the pre and post broadcast, which are the 30 minutes before and the 30 minutes after this live broadcast. So you're getting an additional hour with us each week. Make sure you are stay connected with us. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and many more by searching Everything Vaguely Paranormal and looking for the green sound wave. And remember, you can catch us live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube. Go make sure you subscribe to our Eventbrite page to be notified when the public investigation tickets go on sale, because they are coming for 2026, and we ain't just staying in Texas, I don't believe. So go subscribe to that. We might put Sleeper Mortuary on there. You never freaking know. We'll just have to get with Tori and see what she's got.
That's right.
Yeah.
But to make
Let's
all of
do
this
it up.
easier, we have added all these links to our link tree, which will be on the Everything Vaguely Paranormal Facebook and X profiles Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as well as in all of our show notes for you audio listeners. We are grateful for all your continued support. Every like, comment, share, download keeps the adventures alive. So if you have a favorite episode, share it with your friends. And if you have a story, comment, or question, or would like to be a guest on the show or have us as guests on your show, email us at the evppod@gmail.com. That is THEEVPPOD@gmail.com.
Go like, share, and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up. Thank you, Tori. I can't even speak. YouTube
That's
channel,
okay.
Tori. I'm
Plus,
looking
I
at
do it all the time.
Tori,
all right.
I apologize. Apparently, I'm drunk. Who knows? I don't know.
I get
Well,
tongue-tied all the time.
I got tongue-tied. I apologize.
You're fine.
Right. Well, we thank you for coming on tonight, Tori. It was a wonderful time. We had a
Thank
blast
you for
learning about
having me.
Sleeper Mortuary and about your stories. They were fantastic. So thank you all
Thank
again
you.
for joining us. For myself, I am Blake Smith. For my partners in the paranormal, Miss Shelley Pruitt, Mr. Ryan Roberts, and our very special guest, Tory Westhoff, the owner of Sleeper Mortuary. We love y'all. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Bye, y'all.